Hello and welcome to our IELTS class. My name is Isaac. In today's class, we'll be looking at the writing task 2 of the IELTS test. Now, IELTS writing section has two tasks, task 1 and task 2. If you're doing the general training test, your task 1 will be letter writing. But if you're doing the academic test, then you will be interpreting or describing information presented in a diagram in your task 1. However, the task 2 is the same for both tests, the general training and the academic test. You will be writing a long essay. The essay is quite long, of course. You have just 40 minutes to write, answer the task 2 question, and you should be writing at least 250 words, so that is quite long for that time. So in today's video, we'll be looking at what you have to do in the long essay and how you can do that easily. But before we go into the detail, let's look at some of the questions that you might be asked. What kind of questions will you be asked in task 2? Mostly you get opinion questions. Questions that ask you to give your view, express your view concerning a particular topic, or give your opinion concerning a particular topic. But sometimes you also get questions that will ask you to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of a particular thing, or you might just be asked to say the causes and the solutions to a particular problem. So there's a problem and you want to find out what the causes of that problem are and what possible solutions to that problem are. Okay, we have a couple of examples here. You can see from the sample question here, A, B, C, D. Our question A is saying, to what extent do you agree or disagree? So that portion in red is your task, is the question task, and is asking you to what extent do you agree or disagree. And this is a typical opinion question. What is your position? What is your take on this? And what is that topic? Some people believe that unpaid community service should be a compulsory part of high school programs. For example, working for a charity, improving the neighborhood, or teaching sports to younger children. Now that is the view, that is the opinion of other people. And do you agree with that? Sample B says, in some countries, the average weight of people is increasing and their levels of health and fitness are decreasing. What do you think are the causes of this problem and what measures could be taken to solve them? Okay, this is an example of a cause and solution question. What are the causes of this problem and what do you think can be done to solve that problem? You might have another question asking for your opinion, but this time around it's not like you're agreeing or disagreeing. Here you're asked to discuss the view by maybe some people and then give your own opinion too. So you can see that in sample C. Some people say that the best way to improve public health is by increasing the number of sports facilities. Others, however, say that this would have little effect on public health and that other measures are required. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. Now you will notice that in sample C, we have two views presented in the topic. And the task is asking you to discuss these views, these two views, discuss them, and give your own opinion. The relationship between sample C and sample A is you have to give your opinion. So we say these are opinion questions. However, unlike A and C, B is simply saying you should discuss the causes of a problem and a solution. So that is not about your views or opinion or what you think. Okay, let's look at sample D. Sample D says, nowadays many people choose to be self-employed rather than do work for a company or organization. Why might this be the case? What could be the disadvantages of being self-employed? Okay, here you have a question asking you to give reasons why people do something and say whether there are benefits or maybe what the demerits of that thing is. What could be the disadvantages of being self-employed? Why do people want to be self-employed in the first place? This is not a typical agree or disagree question or give your opinion. You're simply looking at reasons why people want to be self-employed and the disadvantages of being self-employed. Okay, so we are simply saying you might be asked in your IELTS long essay to discuss certain views and give your own opinion, or you might be asked to agree or disagree with a particular view, or you might also be discussing solutions and problems, the causes of a problem and solution to that problem. Yes, and you might also sometimes be talking about advantages and disadvantages of a particular thing. All right, so if you have this question and you understand what the question is asking you to do, how can you produce a good long essay? What are the things you must do in order to get a good long IELTS essay? You have to respond to the question fully. You have to answer the question fully. You present your ideas in a clear manner. Give reasons to support your position. That is, if you're answering an opinion question, you have to get good reasons to support your position. Then remember, it is a language proficiency test, so the examiner wants you to use varied words. You show that you have good English vocabulary, so use different words. Also, pay attention to the basic elements of English grammar. Now, your sentences should be well constructed. Pay attention to the subject-verb agreement, the tenses, punctuations, and all of that. Your spellings, all of that is important. And you are to write at least 250 words. That is an instruction. So if you do all of that, then you would have gotten a very good IELTS essay. All right, so how will your essay be evaluated? Of course, the examiner has certain criteria by which whatever you have written will be evaluated. Now, these criteria are like a scale on which your essay will be weighed. So you want to know, how will the examiner assess what you have written? And here are the four main criteria. The first is how well you understand the question and are responding to it. That is your task response. Do you understand what the question is asking you? And Are you responding to the question? Second is coherence and cohesion. This is about your organization. Do you organize your ideas in a clear way? Lexical resource simply means your choice of words and how appropriate you're using these words. Grammatical range and accuracy is about your sentence structure and the types of sentences you're using. So let's look at each and every one of them in detail. So, as I mentioned earlier, your task response is about you understanding what the question is asking you to do and responding to the question appropriately. So this is what you must do. Present your ideas in a very clear and organized way. You have to respond fully and appropriately to all the parts of the task. Now, sometimes the task will ask you to do two things. Sometimes the task might ask you to just say one thing. For instance, if the task says, to what extent do you agree or disagree? It simply means you can agree or disagree, or maybe agree to an extent and disagree to an extent. All right, but let's say the task is asking you to discuss two views and give your opinion. You're not disagreeing, you're not agreeing either. You're simply discussing. So for task response, you have to understand exactly what the question is asking you to do and then do that. Do just that. All right. Make sure your points are relevant to the topic and develop the ideas fully with relevant examples. Now, you always have this instruction in the question telling you to give relevant examples from your experience or your knowledge. It's always there in all the questions. You're going to see that instruction telling you to give reasons to support your position and also relevant examples. So try as much as possible to give examples. In all the essays, it doesn't matter whether you're agreeing or disagreeing or talking about advantages or disadvantages or causes of a problem and solutions to that problem. There are always scenarios. So make whatever the experience is, whatever topic it is that you're writing on, make sure you're giving good examples. It might be from your own personal experience, or you might just create hypothetical examples. As long as they are relevant to the point, that will do. Now, if you have done that in the course of your writing, then you would have responded well to the task. Coherence and cohesion. This is very simple. It simply deals with your organization. How well are you organizing the ideas you have? These points you have, the points you're going to make in the course of your writing, are you presenting them in a very clear and organized manner? If you do that, you have gotten your coherence and cohesion well. Lexical resource, yes. Remember, this is a language proficiency test. You want to demonstrate to the examiner that you have good knowledge of English language. And that means you have enough vocabulary to express yourself. You have enough English words to talk about any topic, to discuss about anything in any context, in any situation. So what are you supposed to do here? Use a range of vocabularies. Don't limit yourself to few words, such that all over the essay you have just few words all over the place. Remember, English language, just like uh, any other language, is very flexible, very fluid. You can say one thing in different ways. No, um, words are not so rigid. You can use one word to mean more than one thing. For instance, you can say start, begin, commence, proceed, and all of that might mean the same thing in a given context. So don't keep repeating begin, begin all the time. That will just mean that you have limited vocabulary. All right. So use synonyms and use collocations. At the same time, make sure you're using these words properly. Okay, grammatical range and accuracy. Just like lexical resource, here too you're supposed to use varied grammatical structures. What are these grammatical structures we're talking about? We have clauses, phrasal verbs rather, idiomatic expressions, and so on. These are the structures that will build up your um, sentences and your text. Now, that long essay you're writing is a text, and there are small, small structures that are building up that text. We know them as sentences. So, the examiner will want to see you use varied sentence type. Don't keep using one particular type of sentence. Like, for example, you're just using simple, simple sentences in your essay. That will show that you have limited knowledge of uh, the grammatical structures. Your ability to use punctuation marks, your ability to combine these simple, simple sentences to produce a complex or compound sentences is what the examiner wants to see. So do that. Also, you want to pay attention to the verb tenses and the agreement between your subject and the verb, and between the pronoun and its antecedent, that is the noun it's referring to. All of those things count in your grammatical range and accuracy. You also want to spell your words correctly. Of course, minor errors might be overlooked as long as they don't obscure the meaning of what you're trying to say. But you don't want to make all this, you don't want to make errors deliberately. So make sure you have, your spellings are good and you're using the right tenses, you're putting this punctuation mark at the right places. If you've done that, then you would have gotten your full score, full marks for grammatical range and accuracy. Remember, you're to write at least 250 words. Now, what are those common problems that people always encounter with task response? Remember, that is the first thing you're supposed to do. Understanding the question and responding to it. Yes, remember, English language for some of us is not the native language we use. It is not our native language. So some of the questions or some of the questions you might be asked might have to do with things that you're not familiar with. You know, language is a main element of culture. A culture of a people is reflected in their language. What am I saying? If you're speaking English, then you have to say words that reflect the culture of the English people. And if you're not a native speaker and you're not familiar with the culture of the English people, some of the question might ask you to say something that is common in the society of the native speakers of English. For example, if you're asked to talk about uh, winter and you are a Nigerian, that might be a bit difficult for you to uh, discuss because we don't have winter in Nigeria. Winter is a season that is common in the Western world. All right. So understanding the question, some people is a bit difficult. You don't understand what the question is asking you to do because you don't have that background knowledge or experience. Again, you might find it a bit difficult to present a clear view or take a clear position. All right, understanding the question, maybe lack of background knowledge and experience, and providing a clear position are some of the common problems people encounter in the course of task response. So how do you overcome these challenges, if at all you experience any of them? This is what you can do to help you understand the question. Remember, the question has two parts. The first part is the topic. The topic is that portion of the question that is telling you, giving you a background information. Then the task is that portion which is giving you instruction on what you must do. All right. So first, separate the question topic from the question task. For instance, if the topic is about whether charity work should be a compulsory part of high school program, then you will know that that is your topic. The task might ask you to, do you agree or disagree? Then you know that that is your task. The task is simply asking you to either agree or disagree. The first thing you want to do is separate the topic from the task, and that will give you a better understanding of what you're to do. Now, if you have done that, then try to see if you can paraphrase or rephrase a portion of the topic into a yes or no question. Now, this is what I mean. By the time you have separated your task from the topic, see if you can rephrase a sentence or a portion of the topic into a yes or no question. That will help you first to brainstorm ideas and then give you a clear position. All right? Let's see how that works. Here is an example. Some people believe that unpaid community service should be a compulsory part of high school programs. For example, working for a charity, improving neighborhood, or teaching sports to younger children. Now, that is your topic. That is your question topic, giving you a background information. Now, the part in red is the task. The task is, to what extent do you agree or disagree? So I can either agree or disagree. That is my task. Okay, I have separated my topic from my task. How can I get a yes or no question from my topic? Okay, look at the table on my right. On top of the table there, we have a sentence which is taken from the topic, and that sentence is giving me a yes or no question. Should unpaid community service be made a compulsory part of high school programs? Now, I have just rephrased a portion of the topic into a yes or no question. Should unpaid community service be made a compulsory part of high school programs? If I say yes, then I'm going to give reasons. If I say no, I will provide valid reasons too to support that position. Now, that will help me get a clear position, and it will help me also to generate ideas. Remember, you have to give relevant, you have to give reasons to support your position, and you have to give examples. So, in order to get good reasons, I am asking myself this question. So, if I say yes, I will have to give reasons. And if I am saying no, I will also give reasons. Okay, what are my reasons for saying yes? Maybe it will give the children a sense of responsibility. The children will acquire valuable skills and experience. It will instill in the children a sense of charity. If I say yes, this might be some of the reasons I will give. What if I decide to say no? I have to give valid reasons. Remember, there is no right or wrong here. You can be right, you can be wrong. If you say yes, fine. The most important thing is you're giving reasons. And if you're saying yes, give reasons. You're not wrong by saying no. You're not wrong by saying yes, as long as you have good reasons. So I'm saying if I decide to say no, for example, I might give my reasons as work of charity should not be made compulsory. The children are too young and inexperienced to teach or help others. Oh, of course. Remember, we're talking about high school program. Now, high school is the same as secondary school. Then we don't even know whether these children are in junior high school or senior high school. So let's say they are in junior high school, that is junior secondary school. It might just be within the ages of 11, 12, 13, thereabout. Now, do you want these kids to go out there and volunteer in charity work? Maybe, let's say, teaching younger children. I don't think they are experienced enough to teach others. These kids themselves need attention, they need help. All right? Now, that is not necessarily true. I'm just giving my own reasons to support my position. That is no. All right? There is no true or false here. It is simply about, do you have good reasons? And that is just it. Okay, I may also give this as another reason. The children might be distracted from their schoolwork. That is, distraction from schoolwork. Now you see how the answer to my yes or no question has given me good reasons to present in my essay, and also has given me a clear position. It has also helped me to understand the task better. So when next you're dealing with a question, especially opinion question, you can try this. Separate the topic from the task and see if you can rephrase, you can get a good yes or no question from the topic. That will help you get ideas, and it will help you get a clear position to take. All right, so Now that we've gotten these ideas, we've understand our question and we understand what the task is asking us to do, how do we go about presenting our ideas? Conventionally, essays are supposed to have uh, the opening part, that is the introduction, and then you will have the body, and then the concluding part, which is your maybe the summary. Yes, your IELTS essay can have that pattern too. Your introduction, your body, and your conclusion. So, what are you supposed to put in the opening part, in the introduction? What is supposed to be in the introduction? Your introduction should be a paraphrase of the topic. As simple as that. Why do you want to paraphrase the topic? Well, remember you have limited time. And you have to write at least 250 words. So you don't have time to decorate your essay with beautiful stories at the beginning and catchy phrases and all of that. So simply paraphrase the topic. Now, if you do that, it won't take away anything from your marks. If at all, it will add. But remember, you have to paraphrase. What does that mean? Just say the same thing in your own words. Don't copy the words in the sentence. If you're copying the words in the question, if you're copying the words in the question, you're not doing anything exceptional. You're simply copying. You won't get scores for that. All right? So you rephrase. Say the same thing in your own words. Okay? Rephrase the statement in the question. Now, once you have done rephrasing the question, give your own position, state your own thesis, present your own opinion right there in the first paragraph. You know why? That is the first place the examiner is going to read in your essay, the introduction. The paraphrase is simply what is in the question itself, so there's nothing exceptional about that. What is new is the idea you're bringing, your own position. So you want to state it right there in the opening paragraph so that the examiner will know right from the reading your introduction that this is what you want to do. You want to agree or you want to disagree. So if you disagree, state it there in the first paragraph that I disagree. If you agree, let it be there in the opening paragraph that you disagree. All right, so your introduction should have a paraphrase and your opinion. Okay, after that, then is the body of your essay. Now, the body of your essay will depend on what the question is asking you. The body of your essay will depend on the task. If, for example, the task asks you to agree or disagree, and you choose to agree, then you might have 3-4 reasons for why you agree. Now, each of these reasons should take a paragraph. Each paragraph should contain one main idea. So if you have 3 good reasons, then you're going to have 3 paragraphs. If you have 4 reasons, then you will have 4 paragraphs. That varies. Remember, it depends on the task. If, for instance, the task asks you to discuss both views and give your opinion, you're likely going to have 4 paragraphs, the whole of your essay. the introduction, and then two body paragraphs and a concluding paragraph. The introduction will be a paraphrasing of the statement, and then the second paragraph will be the discussion of one of the views. The third paragraph will discuss the other view, and the last paragraph will present your own opinion. All right. Remember, in questions that ask you to discuss both views and present your opinion, you always have two views. All right. Both views. That is two views. So you'll be discussing these views. Introduction, one. Paragraph 2 will be the discussion of one of the views. Paragraph 2, the other view. Paragraph 4 now, your own opinion, and that might just be it. So you have in total 4 paragraphs. But if you are to agree or disagree, you might have more than 4 paragraphs, depending on how many points you have. All right. The most important thing is you're giving good reasons and you're giving examples. Of course, you have to write at least 250 words. You can write more, but it shouldn't be less. All right. How to get a good introductory paragraph. Okay, I know that many people struggle with this. I understand what the question is saying. I can write. I know how to spell words, but how do I come up with a good introduction? Now, let's see how we can put into practice some of those things I've mentioned. Remember, I said the introductory paragraph should have a restatement, that's your paraphrase, and your opinion. So let's see how I've done that here. I've taken one of the sample questions. So let's see how I have rephrased a portion of that topic. The portion in red is my paraphrase. Then the second part, which is in black, is my opinion. Some people are of the opinion that unwaged community work, such as charity service, neighborhood development, and sports coaching should be made mandatory for high school children. Although I understand that there may be few negative effects of such practice, I strongly agree that mandating high school children to do non-profit services in the community will benefit both the children and the society. Okay, so I will give you some time now to look at the portion in red and the portion in black. How does that reflect the paraphrase and my opinion? All right, let's say I decide to say no, I disagree. I will do the same. I will paraphrase the topic and I will present my opinion. Some people are of the opinion that high school children should be mandated to participate in unwaged community work, such as charity service, neighborhood development, and sports coaching. That is my paraphrase. Then what is my position? What is my opinion? I am stating my thesis. Although contributing to community development through charity services has great benefits both for the individual and the society, in my view, I do not agree that unsalaried service in the community should be made mandatory for high school children. All right, here I am saying I do not agree. In the first one, I agreed. I strongly agreed, in fact. So now you see how you can get your opening paragraph. This is not a standard requirement. but it is one of the easiest way to start your writing. Remember, if you're not an expert writer, you might have a problem with starting. And you don't want to waste time, all right? Remember, this is not a test of how uh, beautiful you can uh, tell the story. No, how beautifully you can tell the story. It's simply saying how well can you present your ideas. You don't want to waste time racking your brain thinking of how to start. Simply paraphrase the statement. It won't take anything from your score. As long as you're not copying the words in the question, then you will be fine. So let's see how I have avoided copying the words in the question. For instance, I've tried to change unpaid to unwaged. I've changed some words too, like compulsory to mandatory. These words are synonyms. All right. So instead of saying compulsory, that is what the original question says. Now I'm saying mandatory. All right. So try as much as possible to use your own words. If you've done that, then you will get your full scores, even if you paraphrase the statement in the question. All right. So now that you've gotten a paragraph that is the opening paragraph, how are you supposed to get the other paragraphs? Because the body paragraphs might not take the same format as the opening paragraph. So how are you supposed to develop the other paragraphs? Now, the body paragraphs can follow this pattern. Your first sentence in the paragraph should be the main point you have. That should be your topic sentence. That sentence is supposed to contain the main idea in that paragraph. So what I'm trying to say is, put your main idea in the very first sentence of the paragraph. All right? Then give reasons. The following sentences or sentence should be reasons to support that idea. Next, you will have examples. Then, if there's an outcome or a result or a consequence, then you will put that at the end. So let's say your paragraph has 4 sentences. The first sentence, the main idea. The second one is giving reasons why you're saying that. Then the third one is example or example. Then the last one is an outcome. Okay, let's see how that can be done. Oh, this is my example of a body paragraph. Now I've used colors to demarcate the various parts. The first part in black is my main idea, my first sentence, and it's my topic sentence. Participating in community work will give the children a sense of responsibility. That is my reason. That is my main idea. So I'm going to develop that idea. I will give a good reason to support that point. This is because the children, by rendering free services to the growth and the development of their communities, will become more aware of their individual roles in the improvement of the society. All right, I am giving a reason now to support the point I've made, which is in my first sentence. Now I will give examples, relevant examples. I have just one example here. For example, a child who volunteers to clean the drainage system in his or her neighborhood will have the feeling that the cleanliness of the environment depends on his or her actions as much as it depends on that of other members of the community. And then there is an outcome. This awareness will therefore make the child more responsible for environmental sanitation. Okay, so you can see here that my 4 sentences follow that structure, basic structure of main idea, reason, examples, and outcome. It is not all the time that you get an outcome. Okay, so if you can get an outcome or a result, there is no problem. But make sure that you have a main idea and you develop that idea. In the course of developing the idea, you want to give reasons, 1 or 2 reasons, and then you want to give examples. Remember, that is what the question is asking you. That is part of the instruction. Give reasons for your position and relevant examples to support that position. Make sure you're doing that in the course of your responding to the question. All right? Okay, maybe let's say I choose to disagree. I will still follow the same pattern in getting my first paragraph. All your body paragraphs should follow this pattern. Main idea, reason, examples, and outcome. Main idea, reasons, examples, and outcome. If you have 3 body paragraphs, follow that pattern. It is easy and it's easy to do, and it also helps you to make your ideas come out clearer. Remember, you have to present your ideas in a clear manner. So in order to achieve that clarity, you want to make sure that everything is well arranged. This is one simple approach you can use to make sure that your ideas or your sentences are well organized. Now, if your sentences are well patterned, your paragraphs will just follow suit. And at the end of the day, you will see that your essay will come out very clear. All right? Your concluding paragraph might not follow that pattern. Your concluding paragraph and the opening paragraph are similar. Remember, the conclusion is simply a summary. So the summary will just restate your opening paragraph. Okay, so how do you organize your paragraphs? Remember, we're talking about coherence and cohesion, clarity, organization. So let's see how I've put together these 2 paragraphs that I have. My introduction and my first body paragraph. How have I arranged them? So you can see that I have put my opening paragraph and my second paragraph. If I choose to agree, remember the points we got for agreement. If you want to agree, you're saying the children will be responsible by participating in community service. They will learn valuable life skills, and they will grow up as people who have a sense of charity. Now, each of these points will make a paragraph, and you will follow the same pattern we've just mentioned here. Main idea, reasons, examples, and outcome. So for the 3 paragraphs in the body, which will take the 3 points we have generated, you will have that pattern. And if you choose to disagree, you remember those points we got for disagreement. We said charity work shouldn't be something mandatory or compulsory. And the children might be distracted from their schoolwork. And we also say the children are too young and inexperienced to go out helping others. So each of these points will take a paragraph, and you will develop that paragraph using this simple approach. Main idea, reason or reasons, example or examples, and an outcome, if there's any. All right, so let's see how to conclude. How is your conclusion supposed to be? Remember, I said your conclusion and the opening paragraph are a bit different from your body paragraph. The organization might not be the same. You won't be following that pattern of topic sentence, reasons, examples, and outcome. Here you might have something a bit different. So how are you supposed to conclude? Okay, but before we look at that properly, remember to go to the YouTube channel. I have a couple of videos there. You'll be able to see a sample essay on your task 1 writing academic test and task 1 general test, general training test. Okay, so you can leave comments if you have questions. You can leave them in the comment section. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel so that whenever there's a new content, you're able to know. Also, remember to share so that other people too might be able to see some of these points we have here, and maybe those who are preparing to write a test soon, or those who have written before and couldn't get their desired score, will be able to learn from maybe some of the points we're making here, 1 or 2 things that will help them in their preparation. Okay, now in your conclusion, you're simply restating your position. You're emphasizing that position you take from the very beginning. So your conclusion is more like a summary or a restatement of the opening paragraph. Here is my conclusion. Remember, I choose to agree, so I am concluding this way. True education is supposed to build up the child to become useful to his or herself and the society. Therefore, I believe that obligating the children to contribute to the improvement of their community through unpaid service will help them develop into more responsible members of the society in the future. My position is that community service, unpaid service, should be made a compulsory part of high school programs. And this is how I concluded. All right, so you can take a clue from this. Your concluding paragraph is restating the position you take in the course of your writing. Now, if you want to get maybe further training with me, you can contact me. It's my phone number, my email address, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also leave comments. All right, I hope this is helpful, and I will be putting up more content concerning the IELTS test and other um, language proficiency tests. And maybe we might have some other topics relating to English grammar in general so that you will learn one or two things. All right, thank you.